Capital One has this reputation for being the boring issuer, the basic choice. And most people will try and tell you that Chase and Amex are just flat out better. But I'd pump the brakes on this a bit. For the regular credit card user, the person who doesn't want to be constantly tracking a spreadsheet full of credits and benefits every single month, the Capital One ecosystem can give you about 90% of the benefits of points and miles for almost none of the work. That's why I think it could be a great option for so many people in 2026. And I'm not just talking about the casuals. If you're a points and miles optimizer and honestly just tired of managing the coupon book of credits, I think Capital One might be one of the cleanest setups you can run also. Now think about what happened over the last year. The couponification of credit cards hit an all-time high. Amex pushed its platinum annual fee all the way up to $895. Chase did the same thing with the Sapphire Reserve, taking it to $795. And both of them buried all of that value across a slew of coupons and credits ranging from monthly to semi-annually to yearly. Now, to be fair, if you actually use those credits and tracking doesn't bother you, you can absolutely pull tons of value from these cards. I'm not going to pretend like these aren't great cards. With Capital One, the thought process there was a little bit different. Though there were some tweaks to their value proposition, largely the cards all remained the same. And honestly, I think that's the great differentiator in 2026. Today, we're breaking down my 5 favorite features of the Capital One ecosystem. And I got 2 honorable mentions that I love, but I didn't put them on this list. And hint, hint, there's literally one I use every single week, and it saves me hundreds of dollars. So by the end of this video, you'll know if the Capital One ecosystem and these cards make sense for you, or if they're a hard pass. Now, before we start, if you want to figure out what cards actually work for your specific spend, I built a free credit card ROI calculator inside my rewards and returns guide. You plug in your monthly spend by category, and it tells you which cards earn you the most. The link is in the description if you're interested in that. Also, if you get value from this video, do me a favor and hit the like button and subscribe. It helps out the channel a ton and helps push this video out to others. Okay, let's get into things. So the first feature up is honestly the main reason I keep recommending the Venture X and Capital One in general to so many beginners who just want solid value. And that's the travel eraser feature. Now, here's the thing about points and miles that nobody really tells you when you're starting out. Relatively speaking, earning points is pretty easy. The annoying part is actually trying to get decent value for them. Normally, you save up a bunch of miles, you go to book your flight, and either there's no award availability, the points costs are exorbitant, or the only halfway decent deal is some random airline you don't want to fly. So in these situations, most people just end up paying cash and their points sit there forever. Or they use them and they feel like crap for getting bad value. Now, Capital One basically fixes this problem with their points erase feature. Now, in fairness, this is what the feature used to be called, but they renamed it recently in the app, and now it just says cover travel purchases. But it works the same way either way. You book whatever travel you want on any site, whether it's an airline or a hotel, then you go into the app and erase the charge with your miles at 1 cent per point flat. Now, the key here and where this actually gets powerful is when you book through Capital One Travel Portal. So let's say you're booking a hotel for $300 for one night through the portal. That earns you 3,000 points. Then you turn around and use those points to erase part of that cost. That would be $30 knocked off right away. Now, what this comes out to is a fixed 10% off any hotel booking and 5% off any flights when you book through the portal. Now, if you can stack this with that $300 travel credit that the Venture X gives you, you can start to earn and compound even more value. This is basically what my family did in Portugal to get about $600 off a suite in the Algarve coast. If you want to check that video out, I'll leave it in the description below. And that's honestly the part I like about this. You don't have to be a points expert to get value out of your miles. And for those who are looking for outsized value, at a minimum, it raises the floor on what your points are actually worth. You just book with your card, earn points, and save. And for the most part, it's extremely easy. Now, why does this feature matter now more than ever? Well, Chase used to give you a flat elevated rate through their portal, but it turned into this whole points boost feature, which it's up for debate whether some people love it or they hate it. You can still get 1 cent per point as a statement credit, but if you want that cash drop straight into your account, you're going to need an outside bank account with Chase. And as far as Amex, they don't really have a fixed redemption style like this, so you pretty much have to understand transfer partners to get decent value out of those points. So that's reason one, but I think this next one might actually be my favorite because it's basically free money almost nobody's talking about. And that's Capital One offers. This is one that's just sitting right in your account, and a lot of people are honestly completely ignoring it. So if you log into your Capital One account, there's a whole section called Capital One Offers. It's basically a list of deals from specific stores, and there's both in-person and online ones. You tap to activate the one you want, and you either shop through their link or you just pay in person with your Capital One card, and you get bonus miles or cash back on top of whatever your card already earns. Depending on your card, they can show up as either percent back or flat miles back. And the best part is the spend to trigger them is honestly pretty low most times. With my Venture Rewards card, I regularly see offers like spend $20 and get 1,000 to 1,500 points on places I'm already going, like Panera or Five Guys or CVS. You usually get one or two really good ones a day, also sitting at the top. So right now, mine's 25x miles on Viator. Now, look, is an extra 1,000 miles by itself going to make or break your next redemption? Probably not. But think about what this is actually giving you. You spend $20, you get 1,000 miles. At a penny a mile, that's $10 back on a $20 purchase, or essentially a 50x multiplier. So let's break down what using this over a year looks like. Let's say twice a month you activate an offer and grab Panera for lunch, or you pick up some stuff at CVS. Over 12 months, that's about $480 on spending of stuff you were probably buying anyway. And yeah, maybe you go out of your way a little bit, but I'm still assuming you're eating and buying shampoo and other stuff. So that's an extra 24,000 miles a year for basically no extra spending, or around $240 plus in travel. Now, if you caught my 2026 credit card strategy video, you'll know one of my core pillars is shopping portals. I love Rakuten and Capital One Shopping. This is just one more shopping portal I started periodically throwing into my setup to earn an easy few extra thousand points. And the beauty of this is it literally takes 10 seconds to activate. No codes, no coupons, just a quick tap on your phone and you're off and running. So feature 2 is grabbing free money that 99% of people are walking past, which sets up great for this next one because feature 3 is about the money you already spent slipping away after the fact. And for number 3, the features the price drop and price match protection with Capital One. Now here's a situation everyone's been in. You book a flight or a hotel, you feel good about it, and then a few days later you check and the price dropped. And now you're pissed off because you left money on the table. Or you do the opposite. You sit around trying to time it perfectly, the price ends up going up instead. Booking travel can turn into a guessing game where you feel like it's a lose-lose either way. Capital One built the answer to this right into their portal, and it's actually a two-part system. Part 1 is the price match guarantee feature. So if you book a trip through Capital One Travel and within 24 hours you find the exact same thing cheaper somewhere else, they'll credit you the difference. Same flight, same hotel, same dates. And this is actually huge because a lot of the times when you book through portals like Chase or Amex, you're paying a little bit of a premium over what you'd actually be paying booking direct. And this is super annoying, especially when you're trying to use up your portal credits or your benefits, but you don't want to overpay to do it. Now, what the price match basically does is it puts portal bookings on a level playing field with every other travel site. I actually just used this exact thing on a hotel I got coming up in Philly in a few weeks, and it saved me around $30 for the night. And here's a little pro tip: try and wait as long as you can inside that 24-hour window before you check, because a lot of times the price spikes right after you book because of dynamic pricing. But then about 20 to 23 hours later, it normally settles back down below what you paid, and that's when you pounce. Now, for me, the whole thing was super easy. It took me about 2 or 3 minutes over the phone. Now, the second part to this is the price drop protection. When you're booking a flight and the portal tells you to go ahead and book now, it's actually keeping watch of the flights for you for 10 days after you buy it. And if the price drops in that window, it'll automatically refund you the difference up to $50. You don't have to do anything. It just watches for you in the background. Now, the fantastic part about this is you don't have to track prices obsessively or feel too dumb booking early. It's all handled on the back end through the portal. Now, one note here: both of these pay out as Capital One travel credits, not straight cash. The price match has to be the exact match on the public price, and the price drop protection caps out at $50. Plus, it's only on flights, but it's all baked in for free. You're not signing up or doing anything. So that's number 3. Now, for number 4, we're going to be talking about something that's pretty under the radar, but I feel like it made Capital One's ecosystem a lot more useful. And that's travel credits being used on points and miles experiences. For the longest time, travel portals were really only good at the main travel stuff: flights, hotels, car rentals. That was about it. And then once you actually had to go to your destination, the tours, the trips, the excursions, whatever it was, all that stuff you were paying out of pocket. Now in 2025, Capital One changed that when they added this whole activity section to their travel portal. Now it's powered by Viator, so we're talking about 150,000 plus things to do, and all bookable inside Capital One's travel portal. And why this matters is because everything we've been talking about up to this point works in here too. So, for example, on the Venture X, you can book that activity through the portal right on your card and earn 5x miles. You can then turn around, take those miles, and use the travel eraser feature. Or if you have that $300 travel credit or a different credit from a price match or something else, you can apply that to that purchase also. Now, some of you might be thinking, this isn't special. Chase basically has the same thing. And on the surface, you'd be right. But the difference goes back to the variables we talked about earlier. On the Chase side, those activities earn points, sure. When you're actually going to redeem, you're stuck at a flat penny a point. The points boost feature everyone's talking about doesn't even apply to activities like this. So really, there's no special redemption play here. Now, Capital One's portal is also fixed at a penny a point, but on top of that, you've got the travel eraser working, and you've got the ability to use your credits here to wipe out some of that cost. Now, that's just something Chase can't compete with at this current time. All right, so that's number 4. Now, at number 5, we probably got the most important one, and it's not really a feature at all. It's more of a whole philosophy and business model of how Capital One operates and works. It's just straight up simple. Now, here's what I mean. To get the most value out of this ecosystem and take advantage of everything we've been talking about in this video, you really only need 1 or 2 cards. Now, down the line, that list might grow. You might start seeing cards like the Quicksilver or some of the old Discover It cards fold into this setup now that Capital One owns Discover. But still, now, for the most part, I think the play is the duo everyone loves, which is the Venture X and the Savor. This is really the bread and butter of Capital One setups everywhere. Now, most people know these cards, but at a high level, your Savor is your no annual fee card that gets you 3x on groceries, dining, and entertainment. Then the Venture X is your travel card and your catch-all. It gets you 2x on everything, plus 10x on hotels and 5x on flights through the portal, like we talked about earlier. So with just 2 cards, you're basically earning anywhere from 2 to 10x on everything you buy. Now, here's the part I think gets missed when it comes to Capital One. Capital One gives you a really solid baseline floor, but it doesn't mean you're giving up a ceiling. The transfer partners are still there right when you want them. So you can keep it dead simple for years, booking your flights and flying economy around the country. And then once you've built up a stash of points and you're in a good spot, you've still got transfer partner access to fall back on to go book some crazy international business class redemption or some amazing hotel. And that's exactly why this is the number 1 ecosystem I recommend for someone who wants to start getting real value out of credit cards, but doesn't want to turn it into a full-time hobby, tracking spreadsheets or transfer partners or everything else. All right, so those are my top 5. But as promised, I've got 2 honorable mentions. These are technically part of the Capital One world, but aren't directly tied to credit cards or that side of the ecosystem. Now, the first one I mentioned earlier is Capital One Shopping. Now, if you know me or have seen any of my videos, you know I'm a huge advocate for Capital One Shopping. I use it regularly and have gotten hundreds of dollars in value over the last few months alone. Now, this is different from the Capital One offers we mentioned earlier. Instead of getting miles or cash back, you're earning gift cards. But in my opinion, the deals you're getting are way better. I've pulled stuff like 45% off certain vendors, along with deals like spend $200 and get $150 back. I'll leave my affiliate link in the description if you want to check it out and sign up for yourself. But signing up is super easy. Right now, I think the offer is you get basically $80 free just for installing it and putting it as your main browser shopping portal extension. I also made a video breaking down my exact strategy on how I use Capital One Shopping, so check that one out after this one if you're interested in learning more about it. But number 2 is the Capital One 360 checking account. Now, this account has no monthly fees, no minimums, and you can get paid up to 2 days early with direct deposits. You've got about 70,000 free ATMs, plus no foreign transaction fees on debit cards when you travel. Now, for me, I actually got this account initially as a bank bonus hunting strategy. Now, I'll leave my referral link if you want to sign up for this bank account below. I think the offer right now is about $250, and it's pretty easy to do. I think you just need 2 direct deposits. In the end, I think Capital One's really found their footing amongst the giants like Chase and Amex. It isn't trying to be the flashiest points program out there, and Chase and Amex will always have higher ceilings if you're willing to put in the work. But when it comes to simplicity, the user interface, and just the overall technology, I think Capital One's hard to beat. Now, if you're looking to pick up any of these cards like the Venture X or the Savor, or you want to try out the bank bonus hunting strategy or the shopping portals for yourself, I got my links down in the description. Using my referral links helps me keep putting out quality content like this, so thank you in advance if you use them. Alrighty, that's all I got for you guys today. I hope you guys have a good one, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.